Welcome to What the Fit, a podcast about what it means to be fit, whatever the fuck that means. I'm your host, Christelle. First solo episode on video. Crazy. We're going to see how it goes. I feel like I haven't caught up in a while. It's been like, I don't even know the last time I did a solo. So I feel like we just need to have like a nice little girly catch-up time. There are like two specific topics that I really want to cover. One being my blessed morning walk, my spiritual experience of a morning walk, and then also this podcast that I listened to recently, a Huberman podcast. Okay, so what's been going on with me? Well, honestly, I'm just like trying to like find my new rhythm and just get used to this schedule and like figure out how I can incorporate all of my necessary routines and have time, obviously, to like dedicate to the podcast and like growing and marketing and social media. I will say, like, as soon as I have any sort of extra money, like, I'm hiring someone to do social media. I love running my own social media account, like my own like personal account of just like whatever the fuck like I want to post. But when it comes to like strategically thinking about it, I don't know. I just need to like maybe kind of like get a plan. We're working on it. I was like just talking to someone. I'm like, and they had asked like, oh, what's the, like, how are you thinking about growing it? And I was like, honestly, right now, I kind of just want to focus on the content and like getting the operation down of filming because it's so different than recording audio. One, I have like another person involved that is here to like make sure the cameras are good and the lighting is good and like all that sort of thing. So like that's, another person and a guest to take into consideration. And I have to like be ready, at least for now. Like I have to like look cute. That takes time, and I don't know. I'm just like, and we need time to like edit the video and then like clip this stuff for social media and like this and that. So I just want to like focus on getting that down and feeling comfortable. And then also just like nailing down my bartending schedule, which changes quite frequently. But right now it's looking like I have Monday and Thursdays off, which is great. Like I wanted to have 2 days that I could, one, have a day that like I can have like for me. I haven't had that day yet. It's lately felt like it's just been like there's just like always something to do, right? There's like always the next thing to do. And to be honest, like, isn't that how it always is? Like it's always been like that, but I don't know. It just feels different now. It's so different having my work outside of my home. And anyone that works from home knows like it is quite the luxury. And like, especially for my role that I held, I was predominantly in meetings and depending on the week, depending on the day, would maybe have a couple hours of like, let's call it like, office, like at whatever work to do. But it was mostly like calls. So in between calls, like I can fucking run the vacuum, I can change the laundry, I can clean the kitchen, like do little chores around the house. And that's honestly what's like fallen by the wayside the most for me is just like the time to like water my plants, which like has become sadly like such a chore that I dread, which I hate that because I love my plants so much and they deserve all the love and care and attention in the whole entire world. But yeah. So I'm just like figuring out my rhythm. And the thing that I miss the most about having a sort of 9-to-5 schedule is my mornings. And I love the morning so much. Like I've always been a morning girly. Like I like to like wake up early and like get the day started. And that is just obviously not possible anymore. My wake up time now is like 11, 12 if I'm lucky. And so my walks have really turned into afternoon walks, but there's something so special and magical about a morning walk. One, right now, that it's like actually bearable to be outside. but just like the way the light is and like the people that you see in the morning, like going to work or like doing like a little gardening. Like I went out, so I was off last night. And so I was able to like go to bed at like 11:30, wake up at like 8 and like be out on my morning walk by 9, which is like would have been pretty typical for me. And it had been a while since I had done that. So I was just like relishing in it. Like I was just walking and like my neighbors were out and like saying hello. And, I was definitely sweating, but not like absolutely drenched in sweat. And like I saw friends along the way and got to like say hi. And it was so great. And I was like really thinking about how important my walks are to me. No, truly, like no matter what time of day, but, I think it's like particularly powerful in the morning. But I like have my route. I will switch it up every now and then. I know it's like good for your brain to do that, but I pretty much like to like walk my grooved path. And mostly because I don't have to think. Like my feet just like take me where I need to go, and then I can like truly just like process things and like have ideas. And I was thinking about like, what do I want to talk about on this solo episode today? And what do I want to wear tonight to bartend? And like, just whatever. That's just the shit we think about. And the other thing that it like really helps me to do is kind of just reflect. It just gives me this like reflection period. And I feel like I've just like lived so much of my life along this walking route. Like my walks are so lived in. For example, like I can be walking along and go, past a corner, and that's the spot where my mom called me and told me my grandma died. And like, there's the park bench at Washington Park that I sat on at a particularly like really difficult anniversary of Joe's death. And I took off work and I came and sat there. And, there's the fucking picnic table where we decided we were going to get divorced. And like, oh, there's a gazebo where I shared like a special moment with someone. Like, I don't know. It's just like so lived in. And Logan had mentioned this to me a while back. My condo is situated like very high up. I'm on top of a hill. I'm on the top 2 stories. Like I look out now and I am really kind of like floating in the sky. Like it really feels like this like little oasis in the sky, which is lovely and wonderful. And I love being up in the clouds, and I like love being up in the air and like up in the mind and all of that. But she'd said that when I go on my walks, like I'm going down into town. It has like such this like grounded feeling. It's so obviously so old and historic, OTR is. And I do just like really feel this like this calming, grounded presence. And that I just get to like kind of reconnect with all of these like past selves and reconnect with all these past experiences and think about how much has changed and how far I've come, and, miss whatever I need to miss, and kind of like love whatever I need to love. And I think it was because I had been away from them for a while. I'm talking like 4 days. But like whenever I travel too, I'm like, can't wait to come back. But I think because after the separation, it was just like hitting me extra hard. And I was just feeling so grateful. I was like, I'm so happy. The other thing was like, I was just thinking about, wow, this is like so summer. Like we're so in summer. Like I went to a pool. It was my first pool day. It's fucking July. And I had my first pool day. All of our friends got together at one of our friends' house. We were so silly. We were so much fun. Like my friends ate fucking chicken wings off my ass and took pictures of it. And we just like frolicked around and like splish splashed and played mermaids. And it was the best. Ate like really good like summer food. I had like ribs last night. I'm just like fully feeling summer. But it's also so interesting because this summer is so different than any other summer I've had in the past. Like I am working so much outside of the home. And like when I think about summer, I really do think about the nights out and like the fun times and like the trips, the travel. I mean, by now I probably would have been on, like this time last year, I was probably already on like 4 or 5 trips, and I've got nothing planned for a while, which is cool. I'm so cool with it. I've done so much traveling over the years. I'd mentioned this before, like when I got back from LA last October, I was like, I want to stay put. Like, I want to stay put. So there's no complaint there. Like, this is a season. I will travel again. I'm totally not worried about it. But yeah, I don't know. Just to kind of just in such a reflection mood this morning. My brother's anniversary, the anniversary of his death is coming up. Actually, this episode is going to come out on the anniversary of his death on Monday, July 21st. It's been prickling my mind, but honestly, I haven't had much time to be with it yet. And it often is like this. I know that I will feel differently as we come up to the day. And I don't know. I don't have any expectation. I don't know how I'll feel or what I'll do. I mean, I'll want to do something to honor him, whether like take the shots that he loves or spend some time just looking at photos and videos. Like, of course, I'm going to want to talk to my family. But I don't know. We'll see. I had a really good conversation with someone that's going to come on the podcast later on, closer to the fall. And we had just like a really, really lovely conversation about grief. And I know I mentioned this in the 7-year anniversary episode with Logan, but I just like seriously just want to trick all of you. I want to trick everyone into thinking that you're listening to like a health, wellness, like funny podcast. At least I hope I think it's funny. But really, it's like a grief podcast. Like, this is a grief podcast. I really want to focus when I think about like going into year 7 and coming to video and like making a lot of like really cool, great changes, that I want to bring. My main focus will be bringing more of those conversations and people that have faced their grief, let's say, like they've looked the grief in the fucking eyes and like aren't afraid to talk about it and share and just kind of live it out loud. And so I'm really excited for those conversations to come. But coming up soon in terms of like other guests, I want to just kind of do this little like mini series about we have heard from a lot of these people for so many years, and now we like get to see them. So I'll be bringing on some like past guest favorites, which I think will be really fun. And we'll keep the same format. Like High on the Hill obviously will still totally happen. I'm so excited to record that first video. The monthly episodes with Sean where we complain and talk about TV, like those are staying. And then I will try to like sprinkle some solos in every once in a while. Do you know what this is giving for me though? Like, to be really honest, like I feel like I'm in a confessional. I feel like I'm in a reality TV show confessional. And it would be so much easier if I had like a producer like feeding me questions to answer, but here we are. Okay, so the second thing that I want to talk about is this podcast that I listen to, this Huberman podcast. And I haven't really been listening to podcasts lately. I've been watching tons of podcast clips. I've been like on Instagram looking at podcasts. I've been on Spotify looking at podcasts just to see like how are they set up? How are the shots? Like what does it look like? Just like all the work that went behind the scenes when we were kind of getting this video set up. But I haven't really been listening, like full on listening. I would say maybe like every other week I'll listen to Tinks, which I do. I get like a lot of fun, and it's just like so light, and it's just like so easy, and it is just like fun and light and easy to listen to. But I haven't been doing too much in terms of like learning podcasts or like self-development podcasts, like that sort of thing. Just like hasn't been my cup of tea. But I saw this episode pop up on Instagram about building muscle, and I'm just going to pull up the episode really quick because I want to reference the title for you all. Okay, here we go. Huberman Lab. All right. How to lose fat and gain muscle with nutrition. And I'm I really don't have space and bandwidth to like have a lot of like hardcore health goals right now. But one thing that is so important to me, and I have alluded to this on past episodes, we'll talk about it more in future episodes. My like main focus right now is like maintaining and building muscle. I know as we age, that deteriorates, and muscle is also such a predictor of longevity, helps regulate everything in your body. In addition, I am now doing a very, very physical job that requires a lot of strength and endurance. And I want to make sure that I'm like equipped to do that job. So now it feels like even more useful, I guess. And so I'm like, okay, you know, this is going to be the one thing that I focus on. Like truly, 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 one thing that I focus on is making sure that I'm maintaining and, if possible, building muscle is really hard, but like, let's try building and maintaining muscle. And so I listened to this episode. I'd seen a clip and I listened to this episode, and it was really interesting what came up for me. So first, the episode was really all around like, how much protein do you need? When do you need to eat it? You know, what kind of training, all kinds of things like that. And what I found the most interesting, and why I'm talking about this, because obviously there are probably a million episodes out there about how to build and maintain muscle. But what I loved so much about this message that I got from the podcast was really like how simple it can be. Not to say it's easy, but how truly like simple it can be. I think back of like tracking all my macros and, you know, weighing food and counting this and like just in such a head spin of it, and it like always being on my mind. And also thinking like I'm not doing it right. Like, oh, like the timing of it, like, oh my God, when I used to like do like intermittent fasting, or like, what is that called? What was that called? It was like the time restricted eating window or something that was like, I'm not gonna eat after this certain time. And then like until the, whatever. There were so many like rules around it, thinking that it was going to make such an impact on my goal. And what the research says is that it's so much less important than we thought around timing. Like, so like when you're getting your protein after, like before a workout, after a workout, like should you work out fasted? Should you work out with food? The big message I got really was like all that stuff really, like those kind of minute details, like really don't have the impact that we think that it does. So it was a relieving episode to listen to, honestly. And really what it came down to was like, it is possible to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, which for a while people didn't think that it was, because you need to be in a caloric surplus to build muscle. You need to be in a caloric deficit to lose fat. But what research shows is you can, if you up your protein, and like protein only in terms of like calorie intake, you can build muscle and burn fat. And really what I took away from it was like like 1.2 grams of protein per body weight will kind of get you into this zone where you can build muscle and lose fat. So I was like, okay, then that's the goal, right? Like, then that's it. Like, how close? I'm not going to be perfect every day. There's no way in hell. And there's no point in even trying to set that kind of expectation for myself. How close can I get to that every day? 90% of the time, you know, like, do I have the intention behind it that like, I'm going to eat enough protein? And so like that day I went to the grocery store. I'm so protein rich. I got like rotisserie chicken. I ate it like standing over my trash can like a feral raccoon. I think that's the best way to enjoy rotisserie chicken, in my opinion. I got turkey burgers, I got ground beef, I got ground turkey, I got eggs, I got turkey sausage. I'm going to make some like dank ass fucking sandwiches. And, you know, I was like feeling pretty good. But while I was listening to the podcast, it was super interesting for me. And I think this may be probably lately why I've avoided those types of podcasts, because I was hearing, right, about like, this is what the science says you should do if you want to build and maintain muscle, like saying all these things. And I really just kept thinking like, fuck, I haven't been doing that. Like, fuck, I definitely have not been eating enough protein. Like, and it did start to creep in where it was like, I was kind of feeling bad. Like it was kind of like making me feel bad. So I like paused and I was like, okay, like let's really like get under this. Like, what are you feeling bad about? Like you already knew you probably weren't getting enough protein. Like you weren't even necessarily trying. So like, what is it? And I think really what it was, it's like, okay, now I kind of have this goal. I've had this goal. I have this intention, this goal of like eating enough protein to build and maintain muscle. And I think really where the frustration with myself came from is like, you kind like, you know this, and you haven't been doing it, and that's okay. But like now we need to recommit. So I will say it was like a little bit less about like, ooh, you're like not good enough because you're not doing this, and more like now that you know and you have the tools to hit that goal or like work towards that goal, like now you can. So it was interesting, you know? I was like, can I just like sit outside and enjoy listening to a podcast about protein? No, I had to like make it about me and make it about how I'm like not doing something right. But oh, what can we do? We're here. So I thought that was really interesting. I wanted to talk about it because I know a lot of people are like into protein right now, which we should be. It's like really an important nutrient. You should listen to the episode. What is it called again? I'll say it again. Huberman Lab, How to Lose Fat and Gain Muscle with Nutrition. Alan Aragon. Very smart man. Everyone on that podcast is smart. So yeah. I will say this one thing before we wrap up, because this has been on my mind so much. So I'm still watching The Walking Dead. I can't get away from it. Like anytime I have a spare 15 minutes, which is really like all I have these days, I will sit down and like watch The Walking Dead. Whenever I'm eating, I'm like, okay, this is the time I can have a quick hit of The Walking Dead. Everyone I've talked to has said, I watched up until season 3 and then stopped. I was the same way. So now I'm on like season 5 or season 6. And I swear that if we would have just pushed a little bit farther, like a little bit past season 3, there was some time where I was like, I felt it too, even watching it like for the first time. This time, like for the first time past season 3. But it's so good. I'm telling you, it's so good. Anyways, the biggest fantastical, unbelievable thing about this whole entire show, and I just like can't get it unstuck out of my brain, is that the men in the show are so big and built, and they are definitely not getting enough protein. When they're like living in the forest, like eating, like splitting one little rabbit between 5 people, like there's no way you'd be that ripped. That's the thing that's really completely unrealistic about the show. Just completely unrealistic. But other than that, I'm enjoying it so much. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we can wrap it up. First solo episode on video. I hope you enjoy it. Episodes are on YouTube. Episodes are on Spotify for video, audio, and all the places you listen to podcasts. Follow on Instagram, all that stuff. And you know what is the biggest help? Honestly, if you have an episode that you like, share it. Share it to your social media. Like that helps me out so much. It like ups my views a ton. So please and thank you. I love you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Chrissy Gurley and at What the Fit Podcast. Full video episodes will be available on Spotify and YouTube, so follow and subscribe. If you're loving What the Fit, please help spread the word. Send it to a friend, share it to your story, and if you're looking for even more exclusive content, become a Patreon member. You can find it at patreon.com/whatthefitpodcast.